uplifted living light within.
Thank you, Vaikanpai, for playing that. And now I welcome everyone, those who have joined with us on Zoom meeting. So welcome and good evening to everyone. And I also see who is also with us now. So welcome, Brother Eric, to Dallas.
Thank you. Lovely to be with you.
Thank you for accepting our invitation with love in very short notice. And we are glad that you are with us this evening. And so now I ask Sister Nima to read your bio, which is should be very big, but then you have given us very essential. So Nima, you can go ahead and read.
So do you want me to start sharing now, or do you have something to play before?
Yeah. Sister Nima is going to read your introduction.
Yes, just a minute.
Okay.
Just had some technical difficulties, sorry.
I'm happy to smile. I can smile.
Thank you.
I brought you all the beautiful light. So you have Diwali celebration to each one of you. Beautiful light.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Let
I
me
brought
say it again.
We are living
to
life.
each one of you. I brought a beautiful flower. So it's a jasmine flower.
Jasmine flower, I can see.
Smells very, very nice. You can smell? You can smell at home? It's a beautiful jasmine flower, true, that grows all year round in my apartment. So
we are all living lights. Living lights, we are inviting you to Dallas and waiting for to hear from.
to come with light and flowers.
Now go ahead, Nivamen.
Thank you, yes. Sorry about that. So Brother Eric has been with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC Radio Canada, for more than 30 years. A journalist, a producer, he has worked on the main television news and various current affairs programs within the French services. Throughout his career, he has always maintained a special interest in spirituality. For past 35 years, he has been teaching the meditation and philosophy offered by the Brahma Kumaris, an international spiritual organization for which he acts as the national coordinator for the centers in Canada. Brother Eric has been exploring ways to uplift himself with Raj Yoga meditation and what he describes as the exceptional knowledge given by the Brahma Kumaris. He says, regardless of the various posts I have held, I like to think of my work as a way to serve. If I do anything, it's trying to help others to be the best they can in the best possible way. Thank you and welcome, Brother Eric.
So, wow,
Thank you so much.
Living lamp is with us, and so he will share all the treasures with us of his experience. So yes, Brother Eric, go ahead.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and I'm just a little bit later than you. It's 9 o'clock here in the evening, and Montreal is entering winter. We had a lovely month of November, and we had what they call the Indian summer the past 10 days when they had very beautiful temperature. So this is fresh. There's still flowers growing inside. And of course, the light is coming to you tonight from Montreal. And so thank you for inviting me. And, we're always sometimes questioning why should I talk and what should I share, or, why would anyone be interested in listening to, this French Canadian in Montreal in his cold country sharing about Diwali. I'm not even from India, but we all, in the Brahma Kumaris learned to understand the meaning of Diwali. And it's a little bit for us like Christmas as well. It has many similarities. And when I reflect on the spiritual significance, and particularly this year, I don't know about you, I don't know what you did Saturday night. It was the Diwali celebration. And if you compare what you really did Saturday night compared to what you did in the previous years, am I
We did,
correct to
we
say?
did online party. We did
I
online
know you did online party. I don't know, did you do online dancing? Online dancing would have been good, but we did online party. And if I'm correct, I mean, it was nice. I was also online, but I realized that, something was missing a little bit. And then the external festivity was a bit less this year. So on one side, we could think that maybe something was missing or it was different. On the other side, when I was reflecting, I thought, well, maybe this is exactly what this whole time is all about at the moment. And I know, of course, what's happening in the world is terrible, and there are, thousands of people who died because of COVID. So we have to be very, very, I think, merciful and feeling, the stress, anxiety in the world, no doubt. But it's the reality of the darkness which is prevailing in the world. And what this time was all about, or is all about, is to bring out our inner light, to dispel the darkness. So I was sitting at the meditation center, and we're just a few of us. There was no dancing, no moving around. We were just watching this big screen, and it was nice. But I thought the good thing about it this year is that we're not spending time or energy in the external manifestation of Diwali, or very little. So we were not lost into all the joy and the dancing and the happiness of Diwali on the external level. And we were left with, well, why don't we really look more at the essence of this festival? And why don't we go back into the essence of who we are? And can we celebrate Diwali in a true meaning of the festival, which is to really bring out some form of light that can literally dispel darkness. And more than ever, I think this is a moment where we need to bring out that light, not just for others, but also for ourselves. And if I reflect on my life, I've been fortunate to start this spiritual journey when I was fairly young. I was 21, and that was we were moving from hippies to happy. This is the time when we changed from being hippie in the 70s and 80s. So I was young, I had very long hair, I was eating a lot of garlic, and I was, going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning instead of waking up at 4 in the morning. And my life was completely different. And I was not a bad person. I was a very good person, I think, even as a young adult. But I didn't know what would be the purpose of my life. And I was a bit lost between what to do, to follow in my father's footsteps or going to a more creative life with artists and, other thinking. So when I came to the Brahma Kumaris and I learned about Raj Yoga, it was really a big turning point. And, I really understood the richness of the philosophy and the teachings. So yeah, the life changed dramatically when I was 21, and for a few years I became a little bit fanatical about Brahma Kumaris and Raj Yoga. So I turned very quickly into a super yogi, trying to do everything perfect, waking up early in the morning, changing my diet, wearing white, being very intense in my spirituality. And of course, my parents and my sisters really thought I was going cuckoo, and they they really felt sorry for me more than anything else. And they probably thought I was totally lost into an Indian dangerous sect, in India. And when I told them I was going to India, they thought, oh my goodness, we just lost our brother. He's never going to come back. He's going to be brainwashed. And I told them that it was actually a very good thing to go and get my brain washed, because it was really, it really needed to be washed properly. And if I'm asked, what really brought this inner light, yeah, there was some kind of euphoria in the beginning, a bit of fanaticism, I would say even. It was a little bit excessive, expression of my spirituality. I went a little bit too intensively into this. And after a few years, I really quieted down a little bit, and I became a bit more mature. And I realized it's not so much about how you apply principles and, ideology, but it's how much do I live it within myself. And I realized that you could do many good things externally, but internally, there's still this little tug of war, or the inner conflict between my positive qualities and my negative qualities. So I became less interested, I would say, on the external expression of have to do this, I have to do that. And yes, I would do many good things, but I started to reflect more on really what is the work to do inside, so that inner light can really, really manifest itself. And my life was very simple. As soon as I became a yogi, I also became a journalist at the same time. And I thought that I should really stop any form of work, and I should go in India, live on that mountain with just a few, vegetables and, chapatis and whatever, and curry, and I'll be happy, more curry, more happy, will be fine. And so I asked the head of the organization, Prakash Mani, I was at the time, I think 23, 24, and I asked her to surrender. And I said, I want to live with you in India, and, goodbye, America. And she says, no. She said, no. You have to keep a time. You have to keep a job. You have to keep working. And just when I left, she called me back and she says, full-time job. She knew that if I even had a part-time job, I would get lost into spiritual, intoxication, as we call it sometimes. So I worked and I became a journalist. And journalism is not the most meditative work at all. And you must imagine what is to work in a newsroom. You report a lot of negative stories. It's a little bit stressful. You have deadlines, and it's a beautiful profession, but it's a little bit intense. And keeping that job full-time, I keep moving upward in the corporation. So from regional or local reporter, I became national reporter, producer, executive producer, and I keep, aging in that corporation. And the responsibilities just kept on increasing. So I was more and more busy all the time. At the same time, I spent a lot of time looking after meditation centers. And so it's not that meditating or being a yogi is sitting down all day and contemplating the nirvana all day and eating a little bit of chapati. It doesn't work like that at all. And so very quickly I realized that to be a yogi at work and to be professional in my yogi life was the purpose of combining the two, maintaining a very, very thorough spiritual life, but at the same time, maintaining a very active professional life. And I quickly understood that anyway, the main quality to have a real light burning and not an artificial light was to be authentic. And today, even the same in Christmas, we put what they call it artificial lights, electrical lights. I remember still a very long time ago in a Christmas tree, it was not, electrical lights. It was real candles. And you had to be really careful not to burn your whole tree by putting real candles in the tree. And so to be a real living light and not an artificial one that hides behind dogmas or big concepts, but internally doesn't really shine from the true light, I realized authenticity was a very powerful virtue. And authenticity means going to work and being real at work and coming back to the center and still being the same. So it's not that I was one person when I dress in white and I'm meditating, and I'm somebody else when I go to work. So these two activities had to join themselves. And it was perfect because for me, philosophy is amazing. You know, when you think about the richness of understanding the soul and the supreme and the world, everything. I mean, it's, yeah, your mind is very excited, very thrilled, and there's a lot of interest in that. But to go back into a newsroom and to reflect the philosophy in practice, well, I could quickly, honestly tell you, it was very, very challenging. You know, I would get upset very quickly. I would get stressed very quickly. I would get very nervous. In my early days when I was in front of a camera or microphone, I was very, very nervous. Now the cameras are smaller, so it's easier. But before, cameras were very big and lots of lights. And I was nervous at the time. And so I had to practice my, the knowledge that I was receiving in the Brahma Kumaris. I had to practice it at work. And when I would come back to teach meditation, I was very happy to have practical experiences from my work to explain how our spiritual teachings are really, really helping us to deal with the reality, because I was, experiencing both. And, I'm not a mechanic at all. I don't know much about cars, but I love cars and I like very nice cars. But I know one thing is that if you want your car to do anything, you have to, I don't know if it's the right word in English, called ignition. You have to turn on the ignition. In French, the word becomes more like you have to create a contact. And if you think about it, it's quite fascinating that a car can drive, now it should not go fast, but when I was younger in France, we used to drive very, very fast. So the car can do amazing things, but the start of the whole thing is a little sparkle, just a little sparkle, which is the ignition. And it starts the whole, I don't know all the terms in English, but it starts the whole engine, and then now it will be electrical, but before it's gasoline, and the whole engine can work. But the beginning of the whole process is just the ignition, which is you turn the key and it creates a little sparkle in some of these mechanics, a little sparkle, and boop, the car can function, and it does amazing things. And to me, the vision I entertain in spirituality is that when the soul connects with the body starts to move, and it's beautiful. And we call it the miracle of life. It's the beauty of life, a soul entering the body, and the body starts to move, and the eyes open, and we start, acting through the body. It's a miracle. It's a beauty. And why I think we love babies so much is because they don't have any filters. You almost see the soul through their eyes. They're very authentic. They're just natural. So that little sparkle creates life, and we become living human beings. But along the journey, we are very still in the cage of the body and our identities, our role. And then we start speaking like this: I'm a journalist, I'm a teacher, I'm a mechanic. And so that becomes a box that we get a little bit, confined within that little box. And to me, what I really enjoyed in my discovery in Raja Yoga was to understand that the soul can do a second ignition to not only have a human life, but to have a spiritual life. And the whole purpose of our meditation or teachings, in my opinion, is to trigger that little sparkle that makes us move from just an ordinary human being into, angelic, you can say, or divine, spiritual being. And I know it sounds a little bit, rosy, but on the other hand, this is what I was missing when I was younger. And I was looking at the world, and I could tell the world was, with so much wars and conflicts and corruption. I felt, where did we lose our nobility, our dignity? Why are human beings not more noble in their behavior? Why don't we love each other? Why countries fight all the time with each other? And when I was in university and learning about the history of the world, you wonder, why did we kill so many of our fellow human beings? And to me, I was not able to digest that history, and I felt we really lost something as a civilization. So when I learned about the light of the soul, the power of the soul, the reality of the soul, to me it became like second ignition, where just from an ordinary human being wandering around, identifying myself as French or French Canadian, or young male and everything, suddenly there was a new perspective. And there was a time in my early days in meditation where I had one, we call it sometimes a spiritual birth. You have an amazing experience, and that experience will be, again, a turning point after which nothing will be the same. And I had that moment in Montreal here when I was meditating, when I really felt the power of the soul. And for a moment, I had an experience as if everything made so much sense for me. It was like I could clearly feel, whoa, I see the soul in the center of the forehead. I see my body. I see the connection between the two. And I have the feeling of being eternal energy in a physical, non-eternal body. And that really created in me a sense of bliss, a sense of euphoria, again, a sense of power, energy. And I would say for me, that was really when the flame of the soul started to appear in front of me. And then I realized that there's a lot of wind out there that can blow away the flame of the soul. And on a regular basis, I would have a high experience in meditation. I would go to work and I would get into conflict. I would have an argument. I'll be, stressed. I would come back home and I would feel, again, I'm extinguished again. Again, I lost my flame. And so there was a lot of, not yoga, but we called it yo-yo. It was a lot of up and down, and it became Raja Yo-Yo for quite a number of years, I would say. And my seniors kept telling me, don't lose hope, don't lose courage, keep going. You'll have many tests. It's not a path, that is straight up. You raise and fall, as we say. You keep standing up and then you fall and then you have to stand up again. So it took a lot of courage, to go through many different tests. But my practice became very quickly focused on what are the main values that I need to keep the flame lit, the flame burning. And for me, I don't know for everyone, but for me, if I'm sharing my own experience, for me, I discovered that the value of self-esteem was the one protecting the authenticity of the flame. And what was making the flame weaker than the forces of darkness that came most of the time from inside was the lack of self-esteem. And that self-esteem was like, okay, I intellectually learned, I understand, I read about it, I listened to many classes about it. It was a theory. I wanted to develop my self-esteem, but it wasn't concrete, it wasn't real, honestly. And one thing I didn't like very much is when we were told about self-love. You have to love yourself. And that's for me something I didn't connect with at all. I couldn't understand what does it mean to love yourself, and is this not a little bit narcissistic, or I didn't like this loving the self at all. Why? Because there was so little self-esteem. I had self-confidence. I was externally, anyone would have told me, Eric, you have great self-esteem, you have great courage, great confidence. It was just a mask. I could perform and I could look good. That was easy for me to look good, to appear to be okay. But I knew internally there wasn't that much light. It wasn't real. It wasn't authentic. I could be very nice to people, but it didn't mean I really loved them. I was just very polite, but it didn't mean I really loved them. And if I was asked, do you love everyone? I would say, not at all. I don't love everyone. I know I shouldn't, but I don't. And very quickly, I think, the main value that I could connect today with this inner light was that value of self-esteem. And then it became clear to me that self-esteem is not something I can just go to a workshop and then come out with self-esteem. I'm not going to sit in front of my seniors, listen to classes, and then have self-esteem. I came to appreciate that self-esteem is a very long-term result of a succession of achievements. And that before I can talk about having self-esteem for myself, I would need to go on a journey. And I like actually this image sometimes of a pilgrimage. Because on a pilgrimage, you have many stations, you have many steps before you reach the final goal of your pilgrimage. And every step on the journey is meaningful. I know this is kind of Diwali time, but I know more about Christian practices. And we have they call it the path of the cross, where you have 12 stations, and each station tells a segment of the story of Jesus. And they're very fascinating. All these 12 steps are very interesting. And they lead you to the final expression of the light of Jesus. That's according to Christianity. But in Diwali, it's the same thing, is that there's a story that leads to the lightness of Rama killing Ravan, to make it short. But in my own life, and I come back to the relevance of this year, if I'm not dancing around today and celebrating Diwali the way I did for the past few years, maybe it's because time is telling me to celebrate it more internally and to check if I'm really, really doing the inner work to qualify as an enlightened soul. And that process of achieving many things before reaching self-esteem was the big discovery for me, that self-esteem is only the product of self-understanding, self-acceptance, self-respect, self-forgiveness, self-confidence, self-worth, and then comes self-esteem. So I realized that self-esteem was a little bit way up a ladder, and I had to climb the ladder to be worthy of claiming my self-esteem. Maybe others will have different experiences, I don't know, or everyone may be a bit different, but that was for me the way I discovered that I cannot just sit down and say, okay, I have high esteem for myself. No, you earn esteem, others will earn esteem from you. You don't have esteem for people without knowing them a little bit, trusting them, having a relationship with them. Is to have a high sense of esteem. I don't know if that's a correct way to express it in English, but in French it's like that. To have a high, more than trust, more than trusting someone, more than valuing the person, you have a high esteem for who they are. That is something you acquire after knowing the person for a certain amount of time. So to create my own esteem for myself, self-esteem, it took a long, long time. And I would still say today that it's the flame which is still growing and growing and growing. But I think I found through developing self-esteem, a way to create a flame which is authentic. Because when there is self-esteem, I find I don't have to prove anything. And strangely enough, when I have self-esteem, I can be humble because I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to pretend anything. And if I have self-esteem, I will need less from others. So I can listen to others. I can give respect to others. I can help others and be a little bit more humble. I can tell my ego, you don't need to talk right now. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to show anything about yourself. Just listen, pay attention to the other, be curious, be interested in the other, because the flame inside of me is burning more and more. I don't need to shop around or to depend on others or to chase after anyone to ignite my flame. And I really feel that a lot of relationship these days are all about give me light, give me your light. And I want light from you. Oh, you have light, I love you. Then I want to take your light. Why? Because we're not light enough within ourselves. So this ignition of the flame of the soul in Raj Yoga, I found to me was actually, and today I don't know how I would continue my profession or my job without my spiritual practice. I know at work they appreciate me for being a fairly peaceful person, very kind, very respectful. I don't have any troubles at work. I tend to, to create harmony around me. This is all because of my spiritual practice. And this is all because I've been learning and practicing, and I had very good teachers in my seniors to help me to go on that journey. So yeah, I would say that the flame of self-esteem is for me the main one that helps me to create the inner light of the soul. And of course, the last element I can share maybe of my own personal Diwali is that this light cannot be sustained just by myself. In Raj Yoga, we do believe that there is a higher energy, a higher being. We call that being the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, the Supreme Being, the Supreme Light. The Supreme Soul is a beautiful word because it's a soul, but supreme in so many ways. And I would say that what helps me to keep my own inner light bright and shining is by connecting also with that supreme light. And I really, when I came to Raj Yoga, I really, really didn't believe in God, and I didn't like God at all, to be honest. I actually had a big argument with him. And, when my mother passed away, I was very young, and to me, it was his fault. It was God who called my mother. So that was not a good relationship with God. And it took me many years in Raj Yoga to really understand a deeper significance of the supreme energy, God, to be so different from everything I've heard before about God. And I listened to Hinduism a lot, and Christianity, Buddhism. I studied quite a few things before. But what I liked about the soul and the Supreme Soul is to create a relationship with the Supreme, which is such an amazing story of love. It's like, it's not worshiping God anymore, but it's inviting God to live with me and me to live with him, and create we call it sometimes a very odd couple. And when I've been asked all my life, are you married? Are you married? I was 21, in my spiritual journey. And when I realized how dysfunctional I was in my spiritual self, I realized I'm not fit for a relationship right now, but I'm interested in a relationship with that Supreme Soul. And now I can proudly say sometimes, yes, I'm in a relationship, and I've been 36 years in a very odd couple. My wife doesn't have a body. This is a bit odd to start with. And actually I call my wife he most of the time, but it's not about, gender issues like these days. It's just that she is a kind of he, but he's a kind of she as well. But anyway, he doesn't have a body, and we're just light. So people say, what kind of relationship is that? I say, oh, I'll tell you, it's a secret, but it's a very nice relationship. And today I experience this Supreme Being to be mostly energy, a being of light, extremely powerful, but extremely loving. And it's a love which is not human. It's a love which is divine, which is pure, which is incredible. And that love usually tends to melt my heart. I'm very sentimental, so I cry easily and I can shed tears and feel that love and say, oh, wow, this is such a beautiful love. But it's not a conditional love. It's not a love which asks me anything. It's just a love which reignite in me the quality of love, which is my ability to love everyone, to love myself. Now, something that I can appreciate and understand, but also to love others in an unlimited way. And I find that as a little Deepak, as a little flame myself, when I have this opportunity to experience this ignition of myself as a flame, and then the supreme ignition with the supreme light, it's different. It just creates that strength, that energy. I feel here in the center of the forehead as if there's a little pressure, a little buzz. If somebody loves you dearly, they always call you, they always touch you, they always want to hug you, and they always want to be close to you. I think God is just the same. If I allow God to love me, if I just make myself available, he's really annoying because he doesn't give up. He's always chasing after me. He wakes me up early in the morning. He always, loves to be in that relationship. And I like that. I find that this is really, it's a very vibrant, real, I would say private relationship. We don't talk about it so easily at work, certainly, but I think this meeting is okay to talk about it. This is Diwali time. So that relationship of love with the Supreme, I would say if I didn't have that, I would have lost courage in keeping my inner flame lit all the time. Every time my inner flame will extinguish, I think I will have lost courage in reigniting that flame again and again and again and again. And if it was not for this belief that I'm not alone, there's a being that has great love for me and that is present in my life all the time to support me. Without it, I don't think I would have kept my inner flame burning. So it's still burning after all these years, and I'm happy that we can encourage each other, motivate each other. I love to hear stories of other people's journey. So I hope that the story of my journey can also just encourage everyone to do the little effort to create that ignition again and again, and to believe that the inner light has tremendous power, and that inner self-esteem is such a beautiful gift from Diwali. It's the light of the self that creates this vision of the self, which is so beautiful and so pure. So that's my story in short. And I know time always runs out, and I want to see if there's any question or comments. I know we want to not just listen to words, but also experience a little moment of meditation together. But I'm happy to hear any question if there are any.
Yes, Brother Eric, it's so nice, so beautiful experience. We feel like keep listening to you. But yes, it's very authentic and pure experience. Your own self and loving God, the Supreme. And I'm sure, and I know that the whole BK family loves you so much, and you are the decoration of the Brahmin family, BK family around the world. And I remember the moments that, of course, Dadi Janki and Dadis, they hug us sisters and, give us Srishti and hold our hand. But I remember Dadi Janki putting your head in her lap in the teachers' meeting.
Right, you were there in India. That was an amazing moment.
And we all loved to see that scene, and we were very happy. What was your experience at that time?
It was beyond words. I was in, as you very nice that you remember that. We were all the teachers in India, and the Dijenki, she passed away, but she was the head of the organization at the time. And our love for these, there's a supreme soul and they are the supreme stars, not the superstar, the rock stars of the Brahma Kumaris. And Dadi Janki was, of course, someone I created a relationship with her over a long period of time, more than 30 years. And she really won my heart in many ways. And cannot describe how much I have love for her and for Dadi Prakash Mani also. So when we were welcoming her in the teachers' meeting, if you remember, I was actually not teasing her, but I wanted to really have the whole crowd expressing our love for her. And so I was behind her, and we rehearsed before she came on stage a few movements. So I told everybody, this is hugging, this is my heart, this is the soul. And so she didn't know I was behind her, and I was making movements, and everybody was making the same movement. And for her, it was like magic. How all these people can make the same movement at the same time, and how do they do that? And then she realized I was behind. And then she called me, and then she gave me this beautiful, beautiful look. And I was just drawn. It was a magnet. And I always wanted to put my head into her lap. And I think she picked up on that thought. And I looked at Hansaben. She was next to, yes, you can come to Daddy. And I just went she's so frail, she's so tiny. I mean, I'm not big, but I'm probably twice her size. So it's like, just my hands are like probably gigantic. So I came very, very delicate, close to her. I made myself as little as possible, but it was just a magnet. And when I came close to her, I didn't feel that, I could feel the body was so tiny, but the strength of her love and her purity and her eyes, and I could tell she enjoyed that moment too. I know that there was something happened, and everybody was standing up. Many came close and they wanted to take a picture. And so when I stood up, they said, no, do it again. We didn't have time to take a picture. So I went back in her lap for a second time for the picture. And I have that picture. It's everywhere in my phone, everywhere. So it's, and to me, it was really, it's the result of many years of polishing the soul. And the whole Brahmin community, the Brahmin family, is an incredible. Who else has this in the world? I mean, when I look at my life and I say, knowing you, knowing people all over the world, I have good friends in Australia, in Spain, in France. How can I have this kind of friendship with people all over the world if it is not for spiritual, pure family, And honestly, today I can say honestly, there's nobody in my life that I don't feel comfortable with or I don't have love for. No one. It's really the work of these years of cleaning the soul. But this is one of the biggest gifts I received from God and from the Brahmin family, that my heart belongs to everyone and everyone is loving to me, so I'm happy. And there is love for everyone, definitely. And I really, really believe that love is the only answer to everything. If we don't create that flame of love in us, everything is so difficult, so hard work. And the most difficult thing is the love for the self. That's why I was so resisting that expression, because it couldn't be on my words unless it became real. And it takes time to create love for the self.
Very nice. Very nice. So, you are a gift to this family, this BK family, but for the world. And so there's another expression that it is used, the lamp of the world, Vishwa Deepak. World means Vishwa Deepak. So you are a Deepak of the world. I would say like that. And
Thank you.
keeping your spiritual endeavor, doing this wonderful professional job. And so you're a very, very good, extraordinary example for everyone. I would ask audience if you have any question for him. Brother Eric, do you have any question for Brother Eric?
Ben, I don't have a question. I have a comment for Brother Eric.
Go ahead.
Brother Eric, thank you for the honesty that you shared with us. You made everything so real. It's like you're in front of us sharing your life, and your story, your anecdotes made it so lighthearted. Thank you for lighting the lamp for the whole world, and especially for this Brahmin family.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sitaram. Anyone else?
I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Om Shanti, Brother Eric. Thank you so much for joining our family, PK Dallas. And since you shared your experience, I can relate a lot of things with your life. So how did you manage your time while you were young with your professional life and with your experience with spirituality when you feel down with the day-to-day experience of this life, like professional life, when you feel down, people like demoralize, demotivate, and like you have situations when you feel low. So how did you manage it? That's all. With the practical situation of today's world. Thank you.
Well, I was, I saw also that somebody wants to see the picture of me and Daddy Jenki. So if you make me a co-host, I can share you my screen and I can show you that picture. But to answer your question, brother, Daddy Jenki actually was instrumental to really help me to keep a very clear thinking. And Daddy Jenki came to Montreal many, many years ago. And I don't know if anyone if you know Daddy Jenki, you know what I mean. She is a short woman, but she is a great soul. And she has a very unique attitude and personality. And she looks a little bit like, in the Jedi, the little one, how is it called again? The little master of the Jedi. I forgot his name, but he's a little one with big ears, and he's very well known.
Yoda.
Yoda. Voilà. She's the Yoda of the Brahma Kumaris. And so she was in Montreal, and she just finished a meeting with a group, and she passed in front of me on the hallway. And Daddy Jenki, you never know. She can pass by you as if you don't exist, or she can pass by you and then Eric, and then become all lovely. And so I didn't know which mood she will be in. So I looked at her like this, passing in front of me. And she passed by with her friend Hamsa. And she passed right through as if I didn't exist. And she went at the end of the hallway, she turned around and she went back to me very quickly with a finger like this. And I thought, oh, again, what she's going to tell me. And she came right at me and says, Eric, bye. I said, yes, Daddy, what's happening? She says, your conscience at work should be the same than your conscience at the center. She turned around and she went away. And I thought, okay, when did she tell me? Your conscience at work should be the same as it is at the center. And my personal challenge at that time was to always feel that it's so easy to be spiritual in a meditation center when you sit in quietness, you have beautiful music, you have your friends, and it's easier to share, the knowledge. And then I go to work and it could be so challenging with my family, with work, with all the realities. I would go sometime on a trip For 5 weeks, I went in, I covered the Olympic Games in China for 5 weeks in hotels. Forget about your nice chapati with, curry and anything. I mean, this is not available. You're not in an environment that is easy. And so what she meant, keep the same consciousness. I realized that when I go to work, I should stop thinking I'm going to work. And I should start thinking I'm going to do a service program just as if I was at the center. Instead of going on a stage and talking about the soul and the supreme, I'm going in an office and I have to demonstrate what I'm talking about at the center. So all my colleagues, I should give them love and regard. I should practice seeing them as a soul. So looking at my work as a practical application of what we're told to do and to be changed completely my attitude at work. And I didn't feel there was a separation anymore between my spiritual life or my professional life. They became the same. So it's not that there is physical and spiritual, it's just the same. And whatever we do, either we go for grocery, doing some shopping, having to bring my car to get fixed at the garage, if I go to see the doctor, if I have to do anything, doesn't matter what it is. I remember that Daddy Janki, your conscience should be the same. So if I go doing shopping or my groceries on the weekend, my attitude towards the person at the cashier should be the same as my attitude towards a student in the Raj Yoga Center. Same kindness, same love. I don't have to give her the course when I pay for my groceries, but I can find one word to make the soul feel better. I can ask her, is okay, you having a good day, or not too many crazy clients today? And then she smiles, and then you give them regard. If I see a homeless person at the corner of the street, I would take time to speak to the person and say, are you okay today? Are you not too cold? This is an issue here. Or say, did you eat something today? Or are you okay? Are people nice to you? Just to talk 10 seconds, 15 seconds to someone, a homeless person on the street, and look at their face. You're giving them regard and respect. So little things to me was suddenly that I should not separate, oh, this is my logic or my physical or my responsibilities, or this is my spiritual life. Same. Everything is the same. I'm practicing Raj Yoga more at work sometimes than even at the center. And now with this situation with COVID, I'm at home a lot. My new friend has become Zoom, so we're becoming zombies, and we go in Zoom world, and we've become experts in Zoom. So I love Zoom. I think Zoom is a good friend of me. It's my new window to the world. It's wonderful. But I have to create at home the same principles of purity, of love, of kindness, even though I'm alone at home most of the time. So it's a big challenge, but yeah, just not making any separation. This is the world and this is a spiritual thing. Just even if those who live in a family, same thing. It's not my wife or my kids or my brother, my sister, my parents. It's just these are souls that I want to give love to. I want to serve them. I want to share the inner light with them. And I'm being trained. This is the beauty of it. We're always in the training. So they are my best teachers. They really, when I came, and I finished on that one, but at work, actually, to be honest with you, there was a point where I was asked to create an investigative team of journalists. So it was very, very stressful. With a big investigations, it changed many laws. And for 4 years, my work was very, very stressful. And it was a little bit intense, but I was okay. But after 4 years, I told them, can I get something more relaxed? Can I go back into something more into what I want to do? And they say, yeah, but before I want to ask you another favor. And they put me in charge of the main newscast in the evening, which was even more stressful than the one before. And to be honest, I came back home and I thought, my goodness, they're going to kill me. I mean, I'm not going to go through that one. And then the thought came to me, they said, well, Eric, if you want to become a saint very quickly, well, this is a good method. And this newsroom is going to accelerate the process of your improvement, because the conflicts, the confrontations, the challenges are even greater. So I took it as a blessing. And I really took the challenge as a blessing, thinking, if I can go through that new job correctly and pass my test, I'm going to get 100 times more credits than if I were to do a simple, easy job. So I thought, bonus, I'm getting an opportunity to earn 100 times more. Not physically, unfortunately, the pay wasn't that much better.
Thank you so much, Brother Eric.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Can we take one more question? Or I know, Brother Eric, it's 10 o'clock for you, and we don't want to keep you up.
That's all right. I'll still wake up early tomorrow.
Oh, the picture with Dadi Janki.
So I'll show you my picture with Daddy.
Your co-host now.
I don't know if you, hold on, I'll just remove this. Can see the picture?
What is
Yes.
this? Yeah.
You can see Daddy and me?
Yeah.
And this was in the midst of the teachers, about 500 international teachers.
Daddy's laughing. And I just had and actually the reason also it was very special. If you notice on my head, I had a very serious accident that I almost left the body. And she was very concerned with my what was happening on my head.
Yes. And that's
anyway,
what,
this is the one.
Yeah, we did meditate for you at that time.
I know, there was a special moment. Yeah, because almost, you can tell on the head here, I had a big surgery. And it was a big, interesting test in my life. Yeah, I love this. But this is the picture I have everywhere on my phone, and I love.
Very good. Beautiful.
Yeah, and now I'm okay. Everything is fine.
Thank you.
The soul didn't come out. Maybe the soul was trying to go quickly to nirvana. And the surgeon said, no, not today. So they closed the door. The soul couldn't get out. So do we do a few minutes of meditation as well? Or? I'm happy to take maybe 2-3 minutes.
We have accumulated lots of blessings, so we need you here, and that's why.
This is my fortune that you're creating. I know I saw the other guests you're having every night. This is such a lucky. I'm wondering, I was thinking, what is there should be something special in Dallas to bring all these souls together. And I know you've done similar programs with the Shiv Shaktis in the past, and you have this great art of creating a bouquet and a rosary of very, very good friends. And my very good friend Atam Prakash is going to be with you, and Charlie and Yogesh, and I know you had Wadi yesterday. So congratulations! You must be very special to attract all these souls, and happy to be really, in that fortunate list of VVIPs you're bringing in your doorstep. So thank you.
It's according to drama, and yes, everyone really enjoyed being with us in the Shiv Shakti program, and this time also, they're all very happy to share their experience. So really, it's a very nice experience for us also. And so yes.
Let's take just 3 minutes to conclude with. I'll just share a few words where we can capture the essence of the last hour.
Thank you.
And you can all go into Daddy Janki's arms if you want. It's a very nice place to meditate. You see yourself, with Photoshop, they can change the face. So now with your inner Photoshop, you can put your face in Daddy's arms and enjoy that. So just in a very simple and natural way, we can bring all the attention to the center of our forehead. Gently become aware of the energy of the body becoming very quiet, very peaceful, very beautiful breathing, calm, deep. And I harmonize the rhythm of my thoughts with my breathing. And they become like the waves of an ocean, when the waves are very quiet and peaceful in the evening, and a wave comes to the shore, and then it goes back to the ocean. In the same way, the rhythm of my breathing, the air coming in, coming out, and my thoughts creating a thought, and then the thought disappears. Just a thought that comes, and a thought goes. And all the rhythm of life ignites the light of the soul. This beautiful flame the light that shines with love, with purity, the light of authenticity. This is who I am. A beautiful soul, a unique soul. A beautiful being of light. And every thought that comes to my mind is like a flower blooming. So life in the soul expresses itself with beautiful thoughts, real thoughts of love, of peace. And if I look at myself, I can appreciate the uniqueness of the soul, the greatness of the soul. Yes, I do appreciate who I am, value who I am. And if I look around me and I see others, I feel the same. They're all beautiful beings, unique beings. And whatever they do and whoever they are, I just like so much to see the light, to see the flame in each one of them. And seeing myself as a soul and seeing others as a soul. Just feel the beauty of this unlimited family. They are my friends. They are my companions. They are my brothers and sisters. I keep the flame burning. I see the supreme flame in front of me. And I know that this light will always be there. There will always be light in the soul. And I will remain a beautiful soul, a unique soul. Om Shanti.
Om Santi. Thank you.
Lots of good wishes and pure feelings from Dallas family.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You must be smelling this beautiful jasmine that has been around here the whole evening. The candle is still burning. May you be always light and might and right, bright, double bright, double right, double might, double light.
Thank
And
you.
this jasmine live in your heart until we meet next cycle.
You will be coming here as soon
All
as
right,
you
of course.
you have
I'd
to
love
come and
to.
meet us personally. Yeah.
Yeah, you should come in person to
Love, I
Dallas.
know Ranjan has been inviting me, and now there will be a greater pull again to come. So
Right. This
Thank
is the
you.
beginning.
I will finish my job hopefully in not in too long. I can retire, early retirement, I hope not too long from now. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be and joining you. So my
Thank
really sincere greetings to each one of you. I don't see your faces, but I know the lights are there, and I send you all my good wishes, my really, really sincere blessings from the heart. And hopefully we'll meet in a physical form at some point. But I really feel I was with you tonight. So thank you for the how do you call it, the plane ticket. Thank you for sending me that plane ticket. I came within a second.
Thank you. You will come. You will pay for your ticket.
Very nice time.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you
Thank you
all.
very much. Thank you. Good night. Om Shanti.
Thank
Big Om
you.
Shanti to all
Thank
of
you for
you.
your blessings.
It's lovely to be with you all. Good night, everyone.
Good. Bye.
For your life and love. Thank you for your recognition of the one above. Thank you for your sweet compassion, for your life of truth. Thank you for walking on this earth. Thank you for being